Hey, good morning, everyone. Welcome back to A Common Touch of Fantasy. My name is Paul. Today, I am kind of pulling back the curtain when it comes to collecting comic books and what it means to have a pull list at a local comic book store. Each comic book store is different. I'm just going to talk about how my comic book store does it and kind of adjust your expectations accordingly. So, at my comic book store, you pay a certain amount of money, $25, to be a subscriber, and they pull comics for you. Each week, the comics that you have on your list, they will pull a copy for you and put it in your box. And then when you come in, you get all the comics they pulled for you. Usually, they want you to come in at least once a month to pull your comics. They prefer at least like once a week, twice a week, but they'll keep things up to a month. Now, when it comes to pulling these comics, they can pull any comic that is currently coming out. So even though they might not have it on the shelf, you can still request that they pull a certain comic and they'll put it on their order form that they have for each month, each week, so that you can get the comic that is on your list. It's a great way for people that are busy, they can't get to the comic book store each week, to collect comics and get their comics. Now with variant covers, you can switch out the comics that are on your pull list once you get there for the variant covers that are on the shelf, or also you can tell your local comic book store guru that, hey, I want this particular variant copy of this comic, and they'll get it for you. Now, I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. Getting comics, it's expensive. It really is. Yes, getting trades is cheaper because you'll probably end up buying it at like Amazon or on Barnes and Noble or something, and there's a discount. Now at my comic book store, we have a 20% discount for things. So all the comics that are pulled for me, I get 20% off. If I buy a trade there, I get 20% off as well. But at times that really can't compete to the price that Amazon is discounting a comic trade. So yeah, collecting single issues, it's expensive. It really is. I'm going to be completely transparent here and honest. Some months I can spend like $100 on comic books. Recently, I picked up 3 weeks worth of comics, and it was like $65 worth of comics for 3 weeks. For some people, that's just not possible to do. It's just too expensive for them. But it's one of the small things in my life that I spend money on, and I don't feel bad about it because of that. Um, so a lot of people, it's okay to get your comics from the library, to get your comics from the trades and buying them online for cheaper. There's I don't know, a prejudice against people, I guess, in the comic book industry and comic book collectors that those people are somehow less comic book readers. But that is just silliness. It's just stupid and stuff. uh, to some degree, yes, buying single issues uh, keeps different comic books alive. Um, if you don't buy the issues, they won't keep doing the comic. And if you wait for the trade and don't buy the issues, yeah, that happens. But nowadays it is different because trades have such a larger amount of buying that they previously did. So it's not that way as much anymore. Image, in fact, they don't really care about how many single issues sell. I mean, obviously they care, but what I mean is they know that a lot of their readers are trade readers, and they're okay with that. Whereas Marvel and DC, they really try to push people to get to single issues because it supports their industry better, and they usually have more artists and creators working on their books. Now, I get quite a few comics. I'm just going to show some comics that I got the last 3 weeks and just kind of let you know some details about things. Image comics are $3.99 now. They were $2.99, but the last couple years they have increased to $3.99 per issue. This is a new series that's like a horror series about witches. I'm looking forward to that. It's Redlands. Here is Rose, issue number 6. Sacred Creatures, issue number 3. One of my favorite new series. 7 to Eternity, number 9. The Realm, number 1. So what's cool about having the local comic book store is, like, I call them up and say, or I messaged them on Facebook and said, hey, I want you to pull The Realm for me. I completely overlooked it. Could you please pull that for me? And they were able to do that for me. Kill or Be Killed, number 12. Descender, number 24. And then my one Boom comic, Misfit City, number 5. Now, yes, comic books take breaks. Image creators take breaks throughout the year, so there might be 2 or 3 months where they don't put out a comic. Sometimes even they'll take years break and don't come back to the comic until many years later. Sometimes there's like 6 months break, but when you have it on your pull list, you know that you're going to get it when it eventually comes back. Now, DC is a little bit different. DC is $2.99 for their main issues. That's like Batman, Wonder Woman, Green Arrow, things of that nature. So there's 2 issues per month, both of them $2.99. Yes, the pages are a little bit less than other comics because of that. So, but if you put them both together, you're basically getting a pretty large story for $6 a month. Here's Metal number 2. DC Comics, Detective Comics, 964. And so, you know, you just kind of have to figure out which comic creators you like the most. Green Arrow 30 and 31. I'm mostly a DC person. I find that Marvel's comics are a little bit more expensive, and I don't really enjoy them as much just because not a lot happens at times. It's more about the interplay between the characters and different superheroes and different powers and different things. So I enjoy like the over-the-top DC comics with the characters that are larger than life up against larger than life stakes, and I don't know, I just like DC a little bit more. And this is a special cover for Action Comics, $9.87, so it was $1 more. It's $3.99. You see, in Marvel, they can charge up to $5 for an issue. This is the basically the epilogue of Secret Empire, and it was a $5 comic, and all of the Secret Empire event comics were $5, and that's expensive. So that's why when you go to the bookstore and you see like a whole omnibus of an event from Marvel, it's like $50, and you're like, what? That's a ton of money. And so people just go online and buy it for less because they discount things so much more online. Here's the thing, like, buying single comics, going to my local comic book store ensures that there's a place in my community that I love to go to and get the thing that I love. I'm not saying I don't buy a lot online, because I do buy a lot of trades online, but by supporting my local comic book store with single issues, I'm helping the people at the comic book store to have a job. Creating like a community aspect, friendships with the people that work there and the people that go in, and it's just a fun place to go to. I found myself at a point where I was ordering and buying everything online, and I really had nowhere to go. Like, I would go somewhere and be like, where do I want to go today? Do I want to go buy something? Why do I want to go buy something if I buy everything online? And honestly, it was kind of boring to go places because I'd never really bought anything. And so going to my local comic book store, getting comics, was a way for me to look forward to doing something and going somewhere and buying something and supporting something that I love. And that's just why I do it. I hope this was informational for you guys. Thanks for watching. Hope you guys have a great day.